Chiwuike Uba, a development economist, financial expert, and the chairman of the board, AMAKA Chiwuike Foundation. AMAKA Chiwuike Foundation was established in November 2016 following the death of AMAKA Chiwuike on July 4, 2016. The foundation has the mission to improve the quality of life of people, especially those who are with asthma, allergy, and respiratory conditions. And this we do through policy analysis, advocacy, research and studies, networking, and other sustainable approaches that enables us to fulfill the mission and vision of the organization. Part of the approaches is that we have 3 centers under the foundation: the Center for Asthma, Allergy, and Respiratory Conditions, the Center for Innovation, Youth, Rural, and Sustainable Development, and the Center for Leadership and Global Education. Now, somebody may ask, why is the foundation devoting so much time on asthma, allergy, and respiratory conditions? Now, as I earlier indicated, this foundation was established in memory of AMAKA Chiwuike, who incidentally is or was my wife. I lost AMAKA from asthma crisis, and I felt the need to also ensure that other people do not lose their loved ones from the same ailments. And by the grace of God, we've been doing so much to provide direct support to those who are suffering from the ailments, and also by creating awareness on the ailment to enable others to take the necessary precautions to ensure that they manage their conditions very well. One may ask, what is asthma? As earlier indicated, asthma is a respiratory disease that affects the lungs. So what it does is that it leads to inflammation of the airways, making breathing very difficult for those who have that condition. And therefore, the only thing that can be likened to a person who is going through asthma crisis is one who is suffocating. You can imagine when somebody places a pillow over your nose and mouth, making breathing so difficult for you. That is what an asthma patient goes through when he or she goes through a crisis. And unfortunately, when the inflammation comes, another thing that happens is that there is also a emission of mucus, which also blocks the little space that is remaining, and over time it clogs. And what it means is that when the air is unable to pass anymore, what happens is that death occurs. And when you lose somebody, there's no way you can get the person back. The same way, since 2016, I've been imagining my wife coming back, but she's not here, she won't come back here anymore. So it becomes important also for those families who have those with asthma, begin to support those who have this ailment. And those who have the ailment, asthma is not a death sentence, it's something you can manage if you understand the triggers of your asthma and begin to take right measures to manage your condition. There are different triggers to asthma. One of them is pollution, air pollution. And unfortunately, most nations of the world, including Nigeria, are not paying so much attention to air pollution. Air pollution causes a lot of ailment, including cancer, including other respiratory conditions. But most especially, those who are with asthma are suffering so much because of the pollutant air in our system. Nigeria cities are one of the most polluted cities in the world. And with the increasing and on the lack of will of the Nigerian government to stop the gas flaring in the Niger Delta, and its attendant implication of the air. Those of them that are with asthma, are suffering a lot of things. But let me drive more of what are some triggers to asthma. Certainly on air pollution. It could be fried things, it could be perfume, it could be cockroach odors, it could be molds, it could be dust, it could be anything. So it's important that as an asthma patient, or those with asthma, to begin to identify what triggers your own asthma. What triggers my own asthma may be different from what triggers yours. So it becomes very important that you consciously, painstakingly begin to identify those things that happens around you that triggers yours. The better way to manage asthma is first to identify your triggers. When you identify your triggers and begin to avoid those triggers, it's easier to manage your condition. Secondly, avoid self-management. There are specialists, those who manage asthma. They are called pulmonologists. They are respiratory physicians. Unfortunately, also as a country, we have the population of respiratory physicians to the population is about 1 to 12 million persons. So what it means is that we have a dearth of specialists in respiratory illness in Nigeria. But be that as it may, we still have those that are available. Please, if you are having respiratory conditions, I advise you to meet your doctor. And when there are drug prescriptions, please adhere to those prescriptions. Don't say that I'm feeling better. There are drugs that are controllers, there are drugs that are relievers. The normal Ventolin inhalers are relievers. But there are drugs you are supposed to be taking daily. Those are controllers. Those are the ones that help you not to go through crisis. Please, when you are going through crisis, use your relievers. And if it's not working, please, I advise you and those around you to take you to the hospital. Secondly, do not hide your medical condition from friends. A lot of people have died because they were trying to hide their condition from their friends and those and relations. So that when they have crisis, people are confused, about what is wrong with the person, and it takes time to receive help. And the longer time it takes to receive help, the more exposed to dangers that the person becomes, and which could lead to death. Thirdly, one of the things we have observed also is that most schools are not asthma friendly. Unfortunately, when we are going to school, we used to have large compounds, classrooms with lesser students. These days, people open schools in duplexes that have less ventilation. So people are exposed to diseases, exposed to air that are not correct, and people go through this crisis from time to time. Unfortunately also, most parents do not let the school authority know that their walls are asthmatics. So it's important that as parents, you let the school authority know that your child is suffering from asthma. And also encourage schools to also have, as part of their first aid box things, to have asthma drugs, inhalers and all that, even nebulizers, so that when a crisis arises, they can receive the first aid in schools. Please, let there be enough ventilation in your classrooms, in the compound and all that, to enable those who are with asthma to live their normal life. At the streets also, the government has said those who smoke are liable to die young. But the problem is also is that what are the mechanisms that the government has put in place to ensure that public smoking stops? You go to open places, people smoke cigarettes without any consequences. And this has its attendant implications to those who are suffering from asthma. So to this end, it is important that collectively as citizens and as government that will begin to deal with these issues, to begin to ensure that laws that are made are implemented as it should. Thirdly, the National Asthma Guideline that has been developed by the Nigerian Thoracic Society, which ought to have been used by the doctors in the hospital and others, has not been approved or adopted by the federal government. Unfortunately also, Nigeria is one of the countries across the world that does not have an asthma national guideline. And I encourage the government to adopt that immediately, without further delay, to enable us do what we need to do. It's also important that everybody has a right. Those that are with asthma has right to health. How is the government working to ensure that our roads are good? most roads are very bad. And even when the government start building new roads, they also does not complete the road as it were. So it's important to encourage everyone to ensure that we do the right things to protect those that are with asthma, allergy, and respiratory diseases. Together, we shall defeat asthma. Thank you for listening. I am Dr. Chiwuike Uba, a development economist, financial analyst, and the Chairman Board of Trustees, AMAKA Chiwuike Uba Foundation. Thank you for listening.